Hi everyone. In this lesson, we're going to learn about the difference between a rule and a law. On your handout, you'll see at the top, we have two keywords, rule and law. We're going to come back to this section later, so just leave it blank for now. If you look at the next part of your handout, it says, let's begin this lesson by brainstorming rules and laws that we know. Write them in the chart below. So you have a little bit of room on your paper to write a list of examples of rules that you know. They could be rules from home, rules from school, rules from the community, or any other place you know there is a rule. Give me 3 or 4 examples of rules. In the second side of the chart, I want you to do the same for laws and see if you can once again come up with 3 or 4 examples of laws. While you do that, press pause on your video and complete this, and then you can continue with the video. Talk to you soon. All right. We're now going to learn a little bit about rules and laws, and I'm going to show you some more slides. As I show you the slides, there's a space for you at the bottom of the page to write any jot notes as we're going. So I'd like you to write 3 to 4 different jot notes. Remember, those are facts or pieces of information that you learn as I talk about rules and laws. At any time, you can pause the video or go back and rewind if you have to listen to something again. So let's set a goal for 3 to 4 notes as you're learning about rules and laws. All right, let's get started. Let's think about some of the things that you're not allowed to do at home. I can think of a few things. Maybe you would want to write one of those examples as a jot note about something you're not allowed to do at home. What are some of the things that you should remember when you're on the road? There's lots of things that we need to keep in mind to be safe on the road. So, can you just pause the video again right now and turn to your partner and talk about those 2 questions? Share a couple of examples of things you're not allowed to do at home, or a couple of examples of things you should remember when you're on the road. And you can use these sentence starters for your discussion. You can, and then give me an example. You can't. All right, press pause and have a good discussion. Okay, so really what we're doing in this lesson is learning what's the difference. What's the difference? What's the difference between a rule and a law? You will see some pictures on the next slides. For each, decide which of the pictures shows a rule and which one shows a law. Okay, let's get started. We have 2 pictures. On here it says, no gum or sunflower seeds, no hats, no running in the hall, no play fighting, the principal. Is that rules or laws? How about this one? This says drivers, no handheld cell phone use. Is that a rule or a law? Let's try another one. Here's a picture with a piece of paper that says bylaws. Rules or laws? What is a bylaw? How do I know it's a law even if it has the word in law in it? Is it maybe a rule? What about this one? The Canadian Football League rule book. Is it really just a rule book or is it a book of laws? That's something to talk about with your partner. What do you think? By the way, this is number 89, Chris Getzlaff. There's a little Rough Rider trivia for you. Okay, let's try some more. Here's an example of class. Ooh, I think we might give the answer on this one. Be prompt. What does it mean to be prompt? Be prepared. Be positive. Be productive. Be polite. Rules or laws? Here's a book. The Laws of Government. Looks very serious. Rule book or law book? Oh, Arthur. Arthur's Club Rules. There's a whole list there. Rules or laws? Here's a sign you may have seen. Wheelchair parking. Is that a rule or a law? Here's another sign you might be very familiar with. A red stop sign. Is that a rule or is that a law? Here's another sign. It says prohibited. Animals, bikers, skaters. Prohibitive means not allowed. Animals, bikers, or skaters. Rule or law? Here's a water bottle that's for a sport. And it says, play by the new rules. When you're playing sports, are those rules or laws? What is the difference? Here we have another sign. No smoking in accordance with the Minnesota Clean Indoor Act. Minnesota is a place in the States, and it talks about an act. Is that a rule or a law? Okay, now I want you to stop the video and with your partner, just pause the video, go back through and take 3 or 4 jot notes if you didn't take them as you were watching. What are some things that you saw about rules and laws? So pause the video and come on back. Okay, what is a rule? What is a law? Now that you have seen some examples of rules and laws, make a definition for each and write it out in your handout. So how would you define a rule? How would you define a law? Once again, press pause and work with your partner to come up with your definition. On the next slide, I'm going to give you some other information just to make sure you got the definition right. Press pause and write your definition. Great job. Here's a little bit more information. Rules and laws. Why do we have them? Well, they are made to keep us safe and teach us how to behave. They tell us what's right and what's wrong when we're behaving. So rules and laws have 2 reasons. One is to be safe, and one is so we know how to behave. Laws are the rules that are made by the government. They're very important rules, and everybody must follow them. If you don't follow them, there can be consequences. Rules can be made by lots of different people, such as parents, teachers, community members. We learned that there's rules about the classroom, about how to act in the classroom. There's rules for sports games. There's rules for how to play hockey and rules for how to play kickball. There's rules for how to act on the playground and at the rink. There's rules for working in the library, whether that's the library at the school or rules for how you take out books and return books at the public library. So community members can also make rules. If they are on a town council or on an RM council, they might have rules about where dogs are allowed, or they might have rules about where people can camp. There's so many different places that we can have rules, and a rule that is made by a government is called a law. So take some time, pause this part of the video, and make sure you have this important information written on your handout. Well done, everyone. You've had a good start to understanding rules and laws. Now we have 3 core lessons that you're going to do in your booklet. Lesson 1, why we have rules and laws. So let's get started. There's 2 questions that you're going to need to answer. Why do you think rules are necessary? Why do we need them? Brainstorm a list of reasons why. And because it says reasons, let's make sure you have more than 2. Sorry about that, I clicked ahead. More than 2. Brainstorm a list of reasons why. Number 2, why do you think laws are necessary? So this one asks, why are rules necessary? This one says, why do you think laws are necessary? Again, brainstorm a list of reasons why. And make sure you have more than 2 reasons. I'll go with more than 2. And pause while you're filling this part of the video, or this part of your handout. Great job. You're already moving on to the second core lesson. This one is a little quiz, and it's asking you, is that a rule or is that a law? Let's get started. In your handout, you have some examples of rules or laws. There's 10 of them. On the line, you're going to, or on the handout, read each sentence carefully. Decide if each statement is a rule or a law. Write L if you think it's a law. Write R if you think it's a rule. Be ready to explain your choice. Once again, pause the video and work with your partner on those 10 statements. Is that a rule? Is that a law? Great job. You are already on the third of the core lessons. The third lesson, we're learning about following and breaking rules. Ooh, the following and breaking. Let's see what we're going to do on that one. On this one, you're going to go to your textbook and you're going to find pages 138 and 139 and have a look at some of the pictures. Here's the instructions. Use the illustration on pages 138 and 139 of your textbook. Describe if each situation is following or breaking the rules. I've done a couple of examples for you. Following the rules or following laws is cleaning up after the dog. That's following the rules. And if you are in a public place and you need to, like a dog park, you have to, by law, clean up after your dog. Waiting to cross the street. Oh my goodness, that should say street, not stress. Well, now you know what I was trying to say. Waiting to cross the street. That is an example of following the rules. That's actually an example of following the laws. It's a safety rule, but it's also a law not to jaywalk and to use crosswalks. That's a law that's enforced by a bylaw officer. Here's another example of following either a rule or the law, putting garbage in the trash bin. That's a rule in lots of places, but it's also a law not to litter. So let's look at some examples of breaking the rules. Skateboarding when the sign says no skateboarding. Speeding in a school zone. That's a very dangerous law to break. Driving through a red light. Also a very dangerous law to break. Go through the illustrations on page 138 and 39 and use the examples and fill them in. Are they an example of following the rules and laws or breaking the rules and laws? Fill in the examples in the spaces on the chart on your handout. When you're doing that, you'll want to once again press pause on this video. Wow, you've done all 3 core lessons. So before you move on to the Your Choice lesson, I would like you to use the internet to learn what a bylaw is. Be ready to share it with our class. Once again, pause while you are going to do some research onto a bylaw. If it is better because you're leaving this video to press stop and come back, that's okay. You'll be looking for this part of the video, what is a bylaw, at about 17 minutes, almost 18 minutes into the video. Okay, so if you have to press stop, just fast forward to 18 minutes to find this. All right, you have moved on and have a little bit of time to do a Your Choice activity. There are 2 options, and they're both writing assignments and writing options to connect to our ELA outcomes and learning how to write. One of them is called Boss for a Week writing assignment. The other one is writing a letter to someone in charge of making laws, like a mayor, an MLA, which is a member of the Legislative Assembly. They're a member of our provincial government, or to the Premier. So both of those writing assignments I've got, and so make sure that you come and talk to your teacher and get that information. Great job. You are now officially done this video. Thanks so much for listening. You did a great job.